Peace. Born Sincere, man. I wanted to come and build today on the science and mathematics of life, right? Mathematics, the supreme mathematics is knowledge, all being born of wisdom. And knowledge, a lot of times in our culture, we may say that knowledge is symbolic to the original man or the black man. And we may say that wisdom is symbolic of the black woman. And understanding is symbolic of the black child. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man, woman, and child, sun, moon, and stars, the universal family. And in today's mathematics of being knowledge, when you're knowledging your knowledge is to know, to look, to listen, to examine, to ask questions, to study, and to display respect. Wisdom is the manifestation of one's knowledge, the reflection of your knowledge, looking back at you. Wisdom comes in the form of flow, direction, experiences, reactions, situations, circumstances. All of that is encompassing wisdom, according to our definition of wisdom. So, as I'm seeing today's mathematics of knowledge, man, sometimes you got to knowledge your own knowledge, meaning that you got to knowledge you. You have to look at you on the journey of knowing yourself. On the journey of knowing yourself, you're going to come across looking yourself in the face and seeing all that living in America, being under the system of racism and white supremacy has made you to be, directly or indirectly. We all have some junk in us, some shit in us that we have picked up by being a part of this devilish culture as original people here in the wilderness of North America. And myself, man, I have to acknowledge all of on my strive or my journey to become righteous. I have to go through a lot of hell because it's a lot. I'm hard-headed. It's a lot of things I gotta bump my head around to get a clearer picture of, so that when I live my life, I can live my life as the best version of myself. But in order to do that, I've learned about myself that I am a very persistent person. I'm very persistent, and I can be hard-headed. And in persistence, which is a great trait, but if channeled incorrectly, could be a poor trait. It could produce poor results, rather. That I have to continue to knowledge me to figure out what are my good points and my poor points, my strengths and my weaknesses. Because the strengths and your weaknesses will create your circumstances. There have been times in my existence, through knowledge in myself, really getting a better understanding of, through all my life experiences, through all the people that have added on to my growth and development positively, and through all of the circumstances and people that may have added or taken away from me negatively, realizing how that really has affected me as a black man here in America. How has that really affected my character, my morals and values, and how I affect other people when I come into them? See, sometimes when you got poison in you, then the only thing that poison can do is come up out of you in life situations, in your dealings with people and in circumstances. When you have poison in you, poison will come out. If you got righteousness in you, righteousness will come out. Because that which is in will always come out. Anything that's in darkness must at some point come to light. So as I continue to knowledge, meaning knowledge my own knowledge my own state of mind, the best parts and the poor parts, I have to be honest with self and say, you got to face that. Because when you say knowledge of self, that means you looking at yourself. And it's going to be shit there that you don't like. It's going to be shit there that you do not like about yourself. The thing about that is knowledge bringing forth wisdom. What are you going to do about it? That becomes the determining factor of how circumstances and situations in the future will go from here on out. So as the original man, striving to be the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, the god of the universe, these degrees of growth and development, the degree also shows you that through those degrees of growth and development, from being the Asiatic black man, you being a black man first and foremost, then from you being an Asiatic black man growing to develop yourself into making things, but not just making things, because you can make all types of things, positive things, negative things, making positive, righteous things, and then owning those things. But at the same time, in your strive to make positivity, you may make some negativity by being blind, deaf, and dumb to certain aspects of certain ciphers. You know what I'm saying? See, knowledge itself is a continuous learning process. So you got to make and own what you created, positive and or negative. That's the justice that come with it, the penalties and rewards for your ways and your actions. And I'm learning the penalties and rewards for my ways and actions in life when it comes to myself, the relationship that I have with myself, and the relationship that I have with other people outside of myself. Because how you treat self is how you're going to be treating others. So on the growth and development process of being a maker, I got to own those situations that I created. And we all do. As black men, we must own what we created. It's very difficult. Then, from owning that, the strive to become better, the strive of refinement to raise yourself up as the cream, because the cream always rises to the top. So that means you got to raise yourself up through a period of growth and development and building and destroying. You can't talk about building and not really be talking about destroying. And destroying requires a lot of healing. Because as black people, it's no way that you can be black in America and not be filled with poison or some kind of trauma. That comes with the territory of being original people here, subjected to this oppression and the system of racism and white supremacy. And when we get amongst ourselves as a people, that poison comes out on each other. That poison that's generations deep. That poison that existed way before you even physically got here. That poison that's in your DNA from the thoughts, deeds, and actions from those who came before you. That's the science that I'm building on. In order to do that, you gotta destroy the weakness to build the strength. The weakness that maybe your father couldn't, the weakness that your father was encountering that he couldn't overcome. The weakness that your grandfather or your great-grandfather, all the men and women that were around you or that came before you couldn't deal with, and that shit went into the DNA. And now you're dealing with it. At some point, it's got to break. At some point, the cycle has to stop, but the persons who choose themselves to stop that cycle have a very, very intense, rigorous job. So striving to become the cream of the planet Earth, striving to have lofty thoughts in your mind of higher elevation is a practice. Striving to become father of your civilization, to be the father of your thinking, because every thought that's made born, you was the father of the thought. What type of thoughts are you manifesting? Positive thoughts bear positive fruit, negative thoughts or devilish thoughts or untruthful thoughts bear negative fruit. And that's what we all must go through as original men in order to become God of your universe. So I'm speaking here today, man, on a degree of knowledge, man. I am a humble student of of this culture and a humble student of myself through supreme mathematics. And I'm still growing and developing on my journey to become the highest and best version of myself. And I probably most likely will continue to make mistakes, but I'm striving not to continue to keep making the same ones. And so I'm seeing today supreme mathematics, knowledge, manifesting wisdom. And my name is Born Sincere, man. I'm just striving to be a better person each and every day, man. And tell more truth. I was taught, man, the more truth you tell, the more God you will become. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Peace.